So I want to welcome everybody, and you all know each other, except that you do see some strange faces, and I'm not going to introduce them right now. I will when it's their turn to speak. So at this point, we will. I think you all have an agenda in front of you. You see what we're here to discuss, and I would like to ask the president to say a few words of welcome, please.
Good afternoon. I will be really brief for me, that is. I just want to tell you, the other evening I was coming home, having dinner with friends, and so it must have been about 9 o'clock, and I drove by Chase Parkway in the evening, and I saw the lights, and I saw that spectacular view of what it is now, the east entrance to the college, and it moved me tremendously. I believe that the faculty and the students in these programs, and in all of our programs, deserve that kind of space and that kind of respect. It is absolutely gorgeous. I want to thank a few people. I know there's a lot of presentations, and I am going to read a poem. So I'm going to thank Joel Aronofsky, who has been with us through so many good projects. Thank you so much. Kim Pilon and of course Rich Brown have been wonderful. Thank you. Seamus Quinn has been with us. Thank you so much. Roxanne Perugino, wonderful. Closer to home, Jim Trout has kept it really steady. So thank you, colleagues in the system office as well, the faculty who are here. It is great. We are moving forward. The fact that we are congregating today to talk about logistics and how we're going to do this is a wonderful. And I just see John Kramer. John, sorry. Thank you, John. Thank you for your help. And I'm Bob Dijak. Keeps it real steady. And the numbers, right? So thank you. So I just want to say, I wish everyone well. Do clean out those offices. Do throw out what you don't need. I know what it's like, having been a faculty for 23 years. There's things that they still have in a file cabinet at your college. I left 15 years ago. I left it in a file cabinet and said, don't you dare destroy any of my notes in here. So God only knows, it's probably in the core somewhere. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. And I just want to read this very brief poem by Emily Dickinson, because it really speaks to what this project is about and what you all do, our healthcare givers and our students and the patients. Hope. This is by Emily Dickinson. It is about hope. In the end, you approach a classroom with hope, both as a faculty and as a student. You approach your procedures as a patient and as a caregiver with hope. So here it is, hope. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept us so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asks a crumb of me. So Eileen George passed the baton to Sandra Russo temporarily, who will be passing the baton to a new leader to be identified. And you are all here, and our students are doing so well, so I'm just going to brag in case some of our colleagues haven't heard, that our nursing students took their licensure exams just a few months ago, and we got the results, and Sandra will correct me in case I miss a point here. 95.97% pass, which is well above the national average and makes this nursing program #1 in Connecticut for sure. The RadTech students have passed their credentialing exams 100% for the past 5 years. And as they prepare the self-study for the next accreditation visit, they realize that they are the only ones in the state of Connecticut to have such a record. So these are outstanding outcomes with the faculty that works as a team with the students. So thank you so much, Eileen, Sandra, all the faculty for the wonderful work, and of course, this team assembled here. I probably won't get to say much more of this until we cut the ribbon, but I just wanted to get you ready and keep that hope alive, right, Joel, so that we will get there on time to begin the spring semester?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, President. And as I was sitting there listening to what she said, something struck me, and I would warn all you folks here. I think she's setting you up, because if you can achieve those results in our dingy old extra headquarters, what are we to expect out of you in the new,
That's correct.
So,
There you go.
something to think about. Ken Pilon from Mosier Pilon, thank you for putting that up to start with. I don't think you could have a better picture, that's a rendering, of course, but it's going to be very accurate, as you walk in the building. How many of you have been on a tour? We've done a couple tours. How many of you have done that, and how many not? Wow, just about almost everybody. And Sandra, we're going to do one more, what, in a week or so? I think, okay. And so stay in touch with Sandra if you know of somebody who hasn't been there. And it doesn't quite look like that yet, with that beautiful marble floor that comes from the state of Connecticut, from Guilford. But the marble is here now, right, isn't it? Is the marble here?
Yeah.
Okay, it won't be too long till you're going to see marble on the floor. So it's a fabulous building, and Joel Baranowski, who is the project manager from the Department of Construction Services, and who was, believe it or not, the project manager on this building, ironic that we should have the meeting in here, is leading this team. Joel, raise your hand again, please. He's a really shy guy. He didn't want to talk, so that's what he told me. So, and I think the president acknowledged everybody else who's here. But I just before I turn this over to Ken Pilon, I want to thank Joel. I want to thank the whole team. Mark Schweitzer is here from Morganti. I assume you all will be speaking. But this project is going to be of such a high quality, and part of it is because of this wonderful team that's leading the project. It's going to be early. We're going to be in there a semester early. Why? Again, because of the leadership of Joe and his team. So thank you all for what you've done. So now we'll talk. I'm going to turn it over to Ken, and he'll cover some things, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about a few other housekeeping things. By the way, Ken is in the firm MPN, as is Rich Brown.
Thanks for having us, having me here today, and thank you very much for those kind comments, President DeFelice. What I'm going to do is just run through where we are in the project. I'm thinking I'm going to push this. Again, this is the main lobby, as Jim mentioned, and they are getting ready to put up the paneling and install the floor. And light, I see some of the lighting going in today. And we did a video early on before the building was built at the end of the design development phase. And this was just a show before we built, or was just designed on paper, and we made a animated video. I think some people have seen this already. It's pretty accurate in terms of the building itself. As you can see the lobby again, and stone flooring. There's a cafe kind of space in there for break room, breakout, and then there's two.
Ken, I think you should have corrected me. I said marble, didn't I? But it's actually
It's granite.
It's granite, not marble.
It's actually Connecticut granite. This is the lobby going upstairs. There's this glass enclosed stairway. There's another breakout area up there for students to meet and study. And it looks both ways on either side of the entrance. This area that this video portion is in the new building. The existing, which is renovated, we'll see that in a minute. I think this is a shortened version of what we did originally. And then there's, this is the breakout space from the two multi-purpose and lecture hall. And that looks out south. It was in there a little while ago. The sun comes in there pretty nicely. All that area that you see in there, which is white sheetrock, will have the paneling. This is the breakout room, divides into 3 spaces for different uses at the same time. This just shows how it breaks up a little bit. And there's a side to this room that has a fireplace, and it can have small group meetings. There's different lighting modes in here. There's a lot of audio-visual support. This is one of the lab spaces, and it shows one version of how it can be used with the students lined up. There are others that can be in groups. This is a flexible space. This is on the 3rd level. The windows are way up over the top. That's why the windows are shorter up there when you look at the building across the parking lot. This is looking back out the entrance. So, apparently, I guess I can just, okay. This was just some, I'm going to quickly go through a few slides here that talks about the original school building that was there, and you see the portion that's in the front part of that picture. That was pretty much deemed unusable, so we used the existing frame of the building, and that's it on the left right here, and you can see the long portion of the building heading north. That was all taken down, and all the completely back to the structure. And these are just some shots of some of the demo that went on during the time over the last year. And the frame going up, pretty complicated framing around those 2 spaces at the front of the building. That's it again. There's a lot going on in there. It's not just a typical grid, but it's accommodating to those spaces and steel. Very deep foundations in that area of the front of the building. We had to take the old building out. It had deep foundations. There was soils analysis. That's the front entrance under construction. That you can see one guy standing down there. That's how deep those foundations go on either side of that entrance area. And this is putting some of the walls up around that space. And you see how they reinforced, they're all reinforced concrete in Connecticut now, updated seismic design. You can see the portion of the 3rd level up on top. This is the entrance area of the building that's looking into the multi-purpose space. This is the side that presents to the campus. We looked at this originally as the backdrop of the campus, and we articulated it by having these piers out there. Anybody wonders why they're there? Each one of those little frames go up and grab a portion of the floor and the roof of each of the floors, and it's actually holding the building in an earthquake position, so it won't have an earthquake damage. But it allows the space inside the building to be contiguous, so you could renovate it in the future and not have to worry about cross bracing inside the building. And then this is the front of the building. It kind of has a little bit of a ceremonial entrance to the highway when you go by. So it presents itself to the highway there. So it goes both back to the end wall of the campus, and then as you turn, it looks out at the public. That's it. It's a funny angle I'm standing at here. And then this shows the multi-purpose on the lecture hall, and then the offices above. And that office portion is really going to become the sign of the campus when that sign gets put up there. just some details about the brickwork, and the masonry on the outside. There's those, what we call brace frames, holding the building in case there were an emergency. And then the entrance, which is kind of a portal. And you can see now what's happening is the glass kind of comes down behind it and comes out through the entrance. So it'll be real dramatic. It's looking great without the old building, the other building in front of it now. It's really presenting well to the campus. That's the entrance area. There's going to be glass coming out on top of that overhang to the vestibule. And that's just a corner detail of what you have to do to get the glass to look like both ends of the building are really on. When you look across there, you'll see glass on the left side. That's just an exit stair detail between the brick and the metal. And the entrance, the lobby where the granite and all these white walls there's going to be paneling, and then that has a glass wall in front of the stair. That's another code safety issue. This is the multi-purpose room. They're really coming along. It's a nice space. There's a fireplace. It's covered in plastic. The tiered lecture hall really looks nice, and I like the way it's set up with 2 tiers, 2 tables per tier, so people can turn around and have a collaborative kind of space when they need to. That's all panels up there now. When I walked in, it was really very nice. And this is another one of the labs. So the kind of paneling, millwork in the labs kind of resembles some of the paneling in the building. Very clean space. You can see the air conditioning, the chill beams in the ceiling. And this is a conference area up on the 3rd floor with teachers, faculty offices. Same area. Stair details. This is the exit stair. It's starting to get the final finishes on the rails and guards. This is all of the mechanicals, all color-coded. Blue, obviously, is going to be water, cold water. Red is hot water, and orange is snow melt. And I think we have AZ to Seamus will get up and give us the overview of where we're at right now in the construction process. You have a video too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ken kind of went through everything that's going on, but in June of 2015, we set up cameras in this northwest side and the southeast corner of the building. And it's been taking pictures every 15 minutes, 24 hours a day since June. And we're just going to run a film of this west camera that shows everything. It lasts for about 5 minutes.
Just to introduce myself, I'm Mark Schweitzer with Morganti. We're the construction manager at risk on this project. We started out, as Seamus said, in April of 2015 with a 24-month schedule, which we have reduced, and we will get you, and I'm happy to report that you'll be in 4 months early, January of 2017. At this stage, we are in the final phases of it. We are in finishes, putting down flooring, putting up ceilings, putting up your whiteboards. We're also in the inspection process as far as by code we're required Office of the State Fire Marshal and building inspectors. They have a whole laundry list of items for us to have them sign off on. And then we're also in commissioning where we have a third-party independent engineer come in as we start up the HVAC units and the electrical systems. They're there to witness and go through and review what we've done so far with those systems. Right now it's my building, or Morganti's building, saying that they pay me. Once we turn it over back to you guys, it becomes your building, and we become guests in your building. If there's any work that needs to take place after we turn it over, we're on your rules, on your time schedules, okay? So we will need to coordinate. If we need to adjust anything, we'll coordinate with the school, most likely with Bob Dibjack, as far as when we get in there and do our work while you guys are occupying the building. And with that, that is basically my short spiel. Now, probably what you want to hear is the move-in process with Roxanne from STV DPM.
Boy, I couldn't wait to hand that off to me. I thought it'd be about the shortest. Oh, okay. Which one? The one that's worn out, they're all worn out. Okay. First of all, I'm Roxanne Perugino. None of you, some of you probably haven't met me, but most of you already have and probably are tired of me already. I want to introduce you to Eric Bird. Eric will be my assistant throughout the whole process, and he will be helping me. I am in charge of not only your move, but I also am in charge of your FF&E and the items that will be placed in the school, whether it be your furniture, your equipment, your supplies, anything that we're buying new and that's being installed. Right now, I have some tentative dates up there so you can see how fast we are moving along. On the 8th, we will start hanging floor pictures front each door so that when they come in and install, they know how to lay out the furniture. November 10th, we will be having 38 hospital beds and 6 stretchers delivered to start outfitting the labs and stuff. Shortly after that, on the 14th, Hill-Rom, we do have one very exclusive bed. That's a high-end bed that will be delivered. The 16th through the 18th, we will start on the 3rd floor. Red Thread will start putting in all the classroom furniture, tables, chairs, all those kind of things.
Conference room.
Conference rooms, yes, all of those brand new type of items. And also, in December 19th, oh no, shouldn't have been the 19th, but yeah, a little bit later, November, towards the end of November, they'll do the 2nd floor. But also, towards the end of November and December, we will also be bringing in all the office furniture and all the office setups and all the part-time faculty setups. In December, and that'll start beginning of December, end of November. So Red Thread on the 19th and 20th of December, we'll be doing the 1st floor. As you see, we're actually starting on top and working our way down. And then, of course, for all during December, we'll be bringing in other things such as supplies, the Gumard mannequins, Laerdal, all those other things will actually be going on during that time also. All the PTA equipment, whether it be plinths or high-low tables, all those kind of things will be also being brought in during that time. Your miscellaneous, some supplies is for like EMT, we have the stretchers and all that coming in, those kind of things will be coming in also during December. So 90% of everything will be in December. In January, Red Thread will be doing the community room and the tiered classroom. So that'll finish up the building at that point. But those are just a couple of days, and they're basically tables and chairs that need to be bought in. But by December 31st, 90% of the whole building, or I want to probably say 95% of the building will be complete and done. So the furniture and everything, will be, the equipment, everything will be done. Now you're probably wondering about the move. When do we get to go over? That's always the fun part. Fun part, of course, we want to move you over during the winter break. So everybody's going to need to be packed up before they leave for your semester break. We will be delivering boxes within the next week or two. I've talked to Sandra, and we've agreed to put the boxes in E315 in the back room. I don't know if any of you guys know where that storage room was back there that was full of stuff. Well, now there's nothing in there, so it's all cleaned out. And we'll be putting boxes in there very shortly, and we'll let you know when you can start packing. I'm going to tell you, anything you are not using this semester, you should start packing now. Anything that you have not used in years, please discard, get rid of, because there's been plenty of times where I have asked people to pack up, where I move them to swing space, and 2 years go by and I bring them back to their new space in a lot of instances, and those boxes are still packed and nobody's ever been in some of those. So this is the time to clean house. Please do it, because once you get over there, you're not going to feel like unpacking. Unpacking is tougher than packing. It's easy to throw everything in a box. Well, then when you're trying to find places to put everything out of the box, it gets more difficult and more time consuming. So I have some sort of brief description, tips, more like tips that, you should follow when you are packing. Most of them are common sense. When packing, don't pack the boxes any heavier than you can lift, because the movers are going to move the boxes into your office or into your classroom, and they're going to pack, but you may want to move them around a little bit. So if you want to lift them, move them around a little bit, please don't pack them any heavier than what you're going to be able to handle. I could care less if there's 30 things in a box or 2 things in a box, as long as you can handle it without hurting yourself. So that's one tip, because some people like, especially if you're doing textbooks, if you put a whole box full of textbooks, nobody's lifting that. It gets very, very heavy. Same with files and things like that. When packing, it's a good idea to number your boxes. That way you know if anything's missing. And what I like to do is, after the movers move, I go back into each room. If you numbered it 1 through 5, 1 of 1, 2 of 2, 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 1 of 5, 1 of, I'm sorry, whatever it is. When packing boxes, example, 1 of 19, 2 of 19, 3 of 19. I should just write my slide. Would have been easier. But if you number them that way, when I go in and check, I can check and make sure all your boxes are there and that nothing's missing before you even get there. So I can go hunt them down. Okay. You can write on the boxes. They're cardboard boxes. They will be destroyed and removed after you unpack. So if you want to write on them, you can write every single thing that's in that box if you want. Write on them, write your name, whatever. Please use the labels I supply you. The thing is each label, it goes to a different floor, different room. Different colors go to different floors, whatever. So please use the ones I do. No personal items should be placed in boxes. Movers are not responsible for your personal items, so I suggest plants or little pictures that you might have on your desk, or tchotchkes, anything like that, please take home before the move. Because this way, if they get lost or stolen, especially if they're a personal item, they mean something to you, please take them. If packing computer, we will supply bags that you will put your keyboards and your mice and those cords.
Roxanne, why don't we have Neff speak to that, as far as moving computers?
Well, the way we did it in, when Tech Hall opened is we scheduled all the PC moves. Our guys moved them all. If you wish, we can handle it the same way. We can move the computers once they're ready to move over.
And telephone.
And telephones, yes, because it's the same.
Well, we usually supply bags that they put the keyboard, the mouse and stuff and put a label on it, so you know sort of who it
Bags
goes with
might
and
come
what's
in
it goes
handy,
to.
yes.
Yes.
But we can actually
Yeah.
move the physical computer, we can move it.
So whatever it's going to be moved should have a label on it, because the label will designate the room number that you're moving to, and the floor that you're moving to. So that would, anything, whether it fits in a box or not. If it's too big, it's a piece of equipment, doesn't fit in a box, just place a label on it. You know, not everything's going to fit in your typical moving box. So what the movers will do, if it has a label on it, they will wrap it and box it and everything when they come in and move it. So they'll put blankets or whatever they need to put around it to protect it. Please don't label anything that isn't moving. People think sometimes they want to move it. Now you're getting new furniture. You're not moving any of your furniture. So don't even label it. Don't even put anything in there. Unless I have permission from the president or Jim, I am not moving any furniture over. So the thing is don't put any label on any type of furniture unless you have approval. Because that just complicates things, and when movers are moving, they're moving fast, even though I don't tell them that there's no furniture moving, they see something, they may get confused and move it. Like I said, good idea. If you're not using something in a few years, throw it away, get rid of it. Put 2 labels on each box or 2 labels on each thing, just in case something falls off. You're well protected that way. Don't pile your boxes too high. If you start packing now and you're piling your boxes, I don't want any to fall over or anything, so please don't stack them too high. And boxes do not have to be taped. You'll see when the boxes come, they fold down easy and they fold under each other and they pack up very nice. I actually did give a demo quite a while ago to some of the staff showing the boxes and stuff and how easy they were to use and to pop open, because you don't even really have to make them up and then just close them up. So once you've had emptied the boxes, we'll ask you just to press them back down to the original shape, and I will have moving guys come and pick up all the excess cardboard, because it will be a lot of cardboard to dispose of all the cardboard, so it's not in the way, it's not in hallways, it's not in classrooms where people are tripping over it. Now, as you can see, I picked some nice, bright and nice colors. These will be the labels that you will receive. Once I have all the room assignments, I will actually prepare each one of you with your own individual labels, and they will be color-coded. Basement, first floor, second floor, by those colors. Do not share your labels with anybody, because the thing is that if you do, guess what? Their stuff is going to end up in your room. So please don't do that. If by some chance I don't supply you with enough and I have some blank ones around, if you do write out any of your own, please make sure that you make a 5 a 5, not an S. Make a 4 a 4, not a 9. Because these guys are, these are movers. They're going by room numbers and stuff. It's something like, if it looks like a 9 and it's supposed to be a 4, it's getting to 329, not 324. So you misplace a lot of boxes that way. So please keep that in mind, that your colors will matter and your room numbers will matter. I've actually given some samples of where, and you can see where I had the plastic bags. Those are they're large Ziploc bags that you put that and just put your label on it, so it'd be easier to find sort of where to label stuff if it is moving. So don't put labels on screens, don't do anything like that, because that can make a mess of things. But you'll be seeing a lot of me soon, some of you haven't seen enough of me, but I will be always available. Sandra knows how to get a hold of me. Lori, you know how to get a hold of me. Eileen knows how to get a hold of me. Marie, you know how to get a hold of me. Everybody sort of knows how to get a hold of me if they have any questions or anything. And I hope to be stopping by during the next month or so. I'll stop by and poke my head. I might poke my head into your office and say, how are things going? Is there anything else or whatever? So I'm here, but feel free to have one of them get a hold of me if you have any questions or any issues. That's it for me. I think I did the most talking.
Don't leave it. Let me just say first that Roxanne talked about her move management responsibilities. She's also been a tremendous assist to the college in the acquisition of everything that's going to be in that building. We are buying, and not part of the construction project, the college is buying with money that we found here and there, $5 million of furniture, technology, audio, visual, etc. Roxanne has been a huge help. She's a specialist in acquisition, and thank you, because you've gotten us through the project. We've ordered almost everything now,
Yes,
almost everything.
unless somebody else comes up with a throw in the hat kind of thing.
So and all that went on behind the scenes. That was with Sue Chase and Lisa Anderson and me, but she's been a big assistance there. The other thing I wanted to speak about just very briefly is there may be some equipment that we're moving. We're not moving beds, we're not moving curtains, but you have some equipment that's going to get moved from Ekstrom over there. And Roxanne and Meyer Moving can move a lot of that, but there's some perhaps that can't be moved, and we need to cover that quickly. We need to talk to some manufacturers, do we?
What I'd like to know from the staff, and I think, I actually put this out there one other time, is any equipment that is on service contract or that you lease or rent or some sort of like that, anything that's along that field that's very expensive usually too, a lot of those service contracts mandate that the actual manufacturer will want to move them. So if there's any pieces of equipment like that, I need to know so I can contact them and deal with the move dates and the packing and the moving from Ekstrom over to Founders. I will need that information. So if there's anything you can think of, especially usually in the nursing area or something like that, there are some more expensive pieces of equipment that may need to be moved. So keep that in mind. I don't think there's really anything else.
If you're in doubt about any of that, ask, because we
Yes.
don't want to risk moving something, harming a warranty, doing damage. Okay. Roxanne, thank you. And thanks to the whole team for just a great job. We're almost there. So you heard Roxanne say, well, she'll give you these labels, and you put labels on the boxes, and that label will have your name and your room number. Well, that's your new room number. So what about your room number? How do you know that? Well, we're going to be going through a process. It's got to be this month. It'll be happening soon. And we pretty much have all the details worked out. I'm not going to give you those today, but I can tell you that office assignments will be made by classification and by seniority. So I won't run through the whole list. But for example, let's take those of you who are professors. You each have a seniority date, and your seniority date will, for the purposes of this exercise, will be the date that you were appointed as professor. Not when you started with the college, when you were appointed as professor. And then we will show you rooms, offices that will be available to you, and you will make your selection in order. And then we go on to, and then we get on the line to the other classifications until everybody makes their selection. Naugatuck Valley employees will be taken care of first. WestCon, we'll have a few offices they will be taken care of after you have selected your offices. There are 3 areas, if you recall, those of you who have been there, 3 areas where you might end up being. If you're faculty, you're going to be on the 3rd floor or the 2nd floor. Some of you will end up in that admin suite on the 1st floor, and there are offices there, like for directors, and we will use the same process there. So that'll be happening pretty soon. Sandra and I have already talked about that. We're going to work all this out, show it to the president, make sure she approves of the way we're doing it, approve the process, and then we'll go on with it. Sandra, would you like to come up and talk about that next item, technology, the installation, the implementation, and the training, how that's going to happen and when? Because we know you can't just go over there the day before class and start running all that new technology.
Thank you, Provost Troop, and thank you also, Roxanne, who has been a major help in terms of working with the vendors about training, etc. Right now, we actually will need equipment available on site in order to begin our training, but most of the faculty, at least in nursing, know that we will need to do that during the break. And it's more likely, because I'm a big believer in just-in-time training, that it'll be closer to when the semester starts. We have budgeted time for every faculty person, program director, clinical coordinator, to have additional days during that break. while they're off contract for training and for moving. So we expect it to be closer to the opening of the semester, likely that in that first 2 weeks of January after the new year. Our training will be with KB Port, who is the major technology vendor in the new building. It was fun today because we took through some folks from UConn, and they were like, KB Port, they're the absolute best. And Red Thread. And Red Thread is the other vendor that we're using that will be participating in some training. And we will have our own IT department also as a part, partnering with us for that, and hopefully having them on site as well in the new building. So that'll be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra. So Neff, I think you're working with Red Thread, right? Who will be there for the audiovisual. Actually, Red Thread is a big company, and there are two parts to that company. We have bought the furniture from them, not the office furniture, you know that's coming from Hartford, but we have bought all the rest of the furniture through Red Thread, and then the other part of the company deals with audiovisual. We have bought the audiovisual from them. Those two things together, just the audiovisual and that furniture is between $2.5 and $3 million, just to give you an idea of the scope of it. So if you're buying that much technology, and when I say technology, that number doesn't even count like the KB Port and the Goumard and the Laerdal, that's on top of that. But when you're buying all that, you do need the manufacturer here to train, or the consultant. In this case, Red Thread is not the manufacturer; they're the dealer. We have an AV consultant, and I don't remember whether he's Sextant. Are they part of their contract is to help us train too? I think.
That's a good
You know,
question.
I think so. But that Tuesday, January 3rd, I believe is a Tuesday. That's when we're going to kick off this process. So you're going to have about 2.5 weeks to get trained and learn these things before school starts. What it would be 2 weeks from that Wednesday. Okay, next steps. Well, I think the next steps are, and obviously the design team knows what their next steps are. Morganti has told you what. I mean, there's still a lot of things that have to be done. If you've been in the building, if you can look outside, you can see there's still a lot to be done. So they're going to have a very busy 60 to 80 days ahead of them. 60 days from today is New Year's Day, right? So we'll be just about ready to take over on that date. But as I mentioned, office assignments, that'll happen this month. There'll be an awful lot of deliveries and installation, which you wouldn't be involved with, but it's going to be very, very, very busy over there. And the timing of all those deliveries has been made very carefully, and it's all going to happen.